A warm good evening to all the participants, faculty members who are gathered here for the FTP today. Today's FTP will have a thematic webinar on the use of technology in higher education, which will be presented none other than by our principal, Dr. R. Muralidharan sir. So, for this event, now I request our Dean sir to formally welcome the gathering. So, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ram. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good afternoon to all. It's a great honor and pleasure to propose this welcome address during this webinar on use of technology in higher education. On behalf of Ratham College of Arts and Science, IQAC, and Faculty Development Cell, I welcome our most respected principal and today's resource person, Dr. R. Muralidharan sir. I welcome you, sir. I extend my warm welcome to the coordinator of Faculty Development Cell, Dr. Srinivasan. I welcome you, sir. I extend my warm welcome to Dean Dr. Hamalada Ma'am, the head of the departments, and the faculty members and all the participants.
Suresh sir.
So we can start the session. I think Suresh sir, his network is not proper, I think. Srinivasan sir, is it audible?
Yes, sir. Dean sir is having a technical issue with the network connectivity.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. The rise is now. You can carry on the session.
Yeah, thank you. So good afternoon to all. So good afternoon to one and all present here. So today we are going to have a session in use of technology in higher education. So actually, there's a 6 days FDP program we are conducting is to remember to commemorating the 1 year of transformational reforms under the national educational policy that was introduced in the year 2020. So almost everyone knows what is the national education policy, and I'm not going to here to teach about the national education policy. And here I am going to give an overview on what's the technology and how it can be used in the education. So not in the higher education. So commonly, I'm going to say about the education. So here I'm going to start from a very traditional method to the recent method, what we are having, how we have to engage the students, and what are all the best way to engage the students, and what are all the tools available for the faculty members as a teachers, how to make the students to be engaged in a better way. So this is the thing we are going to see today. So I hope many of you might know many of the things which I'm going to share today. So, but even though we have to know certain things, reminding thing we can say as a reminder of the things which we already known. So, just an information we are going to share today is that how the technology is transforming the education. That's the thing we are going to know today. Okay, so this is the agenda of the program. So, just we are going to give an introduction, and we have a transforming learning through technology. Another one is how to foster learning and effective teaching through the online resources, and how to build a digital learning capacity. So that's the fourth agenda we are going to see. And what are all the aspects we are going to cover in the national educational policy that is the 2020 it was introduced, and how far we reached in our institution, and what are all the tools available for the teaching and learning. So these are the things we are going to see. The entire presentation is around 16 slides. It will take around 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, and then we have a question answer session. So if you have any doubts, so you can ask the doubts at the end of the session. So first I will present an entire thing. During the question answer sessions, you can interact and you can clarify your doubts. Or if you have any questions, you can ask at the end of the session. Okay. So now we are entering into the education. So I think if you're going to see the dictionary or if you're going to use the online, so you can find the definition for education. So it is a process or an action of educating or of being educated. So knowing something is called education. So if you are going to do a research, so that means a thing that is a research. So that we call the research. So here in education, it's a process of educating. So you are giving some knowledge transformation to one person, or you are getting some information from someone. Then it is called education. Okay. So another definition we can say it's a field of study that deals mainly with methods of teaching and learning. So how the teaching and learning is going to happen, how it is going to, what are the methodologies we are going to use for the teaching and learning. So those are called education. Okay, so here the entire concept is around education. So that's why I'm giving the definition for the education. So whenever you are going to do a process of learning something, whenever you are going to do a process of teaching someone, teaching something to someone, then it will be called as education. So I think I already said that the traditional method. So everyone knows the traditional method. We won't experience, but we might heard about the thing Gurukul. So it was long back. Then it is we can say 1180s or it's around even we can say 1600s and 1800s. We can see the Gurukul education was followed. So where there is no schools, there is no students can go and come. So here the Gurukul. So even the king's son has to stay in the Guru house or Guru's residence. They have to stay and they have to learn by the instructions given by the Guru. There is no prescribed syllabus for the Gurukula education. So there the student or the scholar has to learn by experiences. Where the student has to learn, that means the king's son or anyone who is going to the Gurukul, they have to learn only through the dictations or the directions given by the Guru. So the Guru is an experienced person. He got lot of information. He got a lot of knowledge. So those knowledges have been transformed to the students. So in Gurukul, only thing they have followed is the learning by experience, learning by doing. So what we are trying to do, which was followed in 18 hour in before our schooling system has started. So now we are moving towards the Gurukul education. So what we are doing now, so we are providing the contents and we are making the students to learn and we are making them to practice. So we are saying learning by doing is very important so that only the students gets hands-off experience so that only they can apply in the real life. So those things are happened in Gurukul education. Okay, so the Guru is the person who is going to decide when the disciple or the scholar has learned or attained the knowledge. So there is no examination. The Guru will decide the examination. But here in our education system, we are having after 6 months we have a midterm test. After another 3 months we have a half-yearly exams, or you can say yearly exams, semester exams like that. We have several examination patterns available. But in Gurukul, there is no examination pattern. Only thing they have is learning by practice and learning by doing. So the Guru will do some activity to the scholar and ask the scholar whether whether the scholar has attained the skill or whether the scholar has attained the knowledge. He will test. If the scholar is not attained, he will make the scholar to do the activity again with a different scenario or different examples. Okay, so that's a Gurukul education that we followed in earlier days. Now what we are using, so we have several types of educations. I think you all know the formal education, informal education, and we can say different types of educations available. So now what we are following in our classroom is a formal education. Okay, so due to COVID, so the COVID-19 has started and it has evolved into different levels. So even now we are we are working in college, but our students are staying in their home and we are handling the classes in online. Lot of changes have been happened in the education, especially in higher education. So what is necessary. So what is required? That is the thing we are going to discuss now. So the formal education through online. So already what we have means the formal education, we have a syllabus, we have a timetable, and we have a specified classroom for handling the class, or it may be a laboratory session. So the student has to come into the session, and we will handle the session in the prescribed time, and we will give notes, materials, everything we will provide. The students will learn, and we will conduct an exam at the end of the semester or mid of the semester. We will conduct the exam. Then we will award a certificate to the student saying this much of marks and you have been qualified for this degree. Like that, we will provide a degree. That's a formal education. A formal education is an education that has been provided in a specific duration with a specific prescribed time, syllabus, and we are giving a particular grade for the particular student. That so much as you attained, so much you have secured. Like that, we are providing a grade sheet. That's a formal education. Now, the formal education is moved to online, more like a non-formal way. The non-formal, it's another type of education, is a non-formal education. So when we are saying about a non-formal education, we can say the distance education. So in earlier days, we followed a school of distance education, or we can say distance education, distance learning programs. So in that, there is a prescribed syllabus is available, but the student has a flexibility to learn. Whether he is interested to attend the class, he can attend the class, or he can do by himself, and finally he can write the exam and get the degree. That's a non-formal education. So now the formal education is transformed to a normal, non-normal way, non-formal way. Okay. So what things required to do these changes? What makes this COVID to adapt? So here, the technologies like mobiles, tabs, laptops, and iPads. So these gadgets, these devices makes the education to be transformed into that level. So even you can see today the students who are accessing the mobile phones. So we are making the students to use the mobile phone for to listen the class using some tools. We are giving some assignments and works to the students to submit the same. So using the mobile phones, tabs or laptops or iPads. So the technology that transforms this learning, that is a formal education, into a non-formal way. Okay. So the next important thing, I think you all know, the internet facility. So without internet, we are not able to share the information to the students. We can't communicate with the students, access the platform which we are providing the contents, or the students are not able to attend the exams, or they are not able to attend the live sessions which we are conducting to deliver the lectures. So for that, the internet is a very basic thing that is required, and the variety of tools. So lot of tools are required to manage the students, as well as to for the communication, collaboration. We are using Microsoft Teams, and for delivering the content, we are using Ratinam Learning Hub. And for conducting these different types of quizzes, we can use several applications, several tools are available for engaging the students. So these are the basic thing that has been made the education into a newer dimension. So now, so we can't realize, or we can't expect that education can be run without the technology. So if you are saying I'm not going to adapt with the technology, then you will be ruled out of the market. So one example I want to say here, I think many of you know about a brand that is very popular in the year 1980s, 1990s, and even 2000s. The brand is very much popular. A mobile phone, mobile company, which is very popular. So when we are seeing that brand, everyone is very eager to have that mobile brand. So later, when the Android kind of thing has introduced, Android is introduced, that mobile brand is no more in the market. So they have been ruled out. So they are not able to sustain in the market. So after the year 2010, they again come back to the market with the Android versions and Windows versions. So now they are able to sustain in the market, not able to compete with the other brands like Samsung or LG or some other brands like Xiaomi. So there are several brands available, and one brand that is got uh, removed from the market. So anyone can guess the name of the brand. So you can use the chat to give the information. So I will give 1 minute time. So if anyone is having the information, please you can type the brand which mobile that was removed, or it was not in the I think no one is giving answers. Is the chat is available? Yeah. So Karthikeyan Aravind has given the Nokia as answer. Mahesh has given Nokia as answer. Yeah. Everyone knows the answer now. So it is not required to ask anyone for that. Okay. So the Nokia is the brand which was ruled out when the technology is not updated by the brand. So here, as a teachers, we are all the teachers. So we are all like mobile. So we are all accustomed with the traditional technology of handling classes in the lecture delivery model. So we are all trained, or we are all accustomed. So we are familiar with the technology. We are familiar with the model of handling classes in the classrooms. When we are moving to a transformation, so we have to adapt like other companies like Samsung, how they have updated, and Gioni or Lava, those companies have updated their technology, and they have how they moved to use technology. So like that, we have to adapt ourselves to be adaptable with the online teaching. So if we are not adapting to the online teaching, then we will also be not sellable in the market. We are not needed for the market. We are not needed for the educational field. Okay. So with this, so these technologies have making ourselves a better position. Okay. So now we are moving to the next thing. So what the transformation that is happening? So what makes thing different? So here we can say, so 4 points I have identified, that is the redefining the learning concept. So now, so the teaching we are changing. So we are providing information to the students, and we are providing the classes to be handled in the online. So what we are having the physical schooling, that the structured physical schooling, what we have now in the traditional classrooms, that have to be changed to anywhere to anytime learning. So what means, so if a student likes to read, he has to read that particular topic on a particular time. So we can't say this is the topic you have to do in this day. This is the topic you have to complete in this day. That we can't say. And this in this online particular situations, we can't say like that. Okay, so what the Coursera or the Udemy or the edX, so the online platforms are doing means they have structured the course in such a way. So they have formed the course in such a way, the week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So if the students who is fast enough is able to complete a course in a 1 day, week 1 is 1 day, and week 2 in another day, and week 3 in another day, then it is easier for the students to complete all the 4-week course in a 1 day or 2 days. Okay, so that kind of redefining the learning is very important when we are moving from a structured physical schooling to anywhere anytime learning. So that redefining is required when we are moving to online, or when we are going to adapt the technology in education. Similarly, personalized learning. So for example, if a student who is very good, so he can go faster. If a student who is not good, so he can go very slow. Maybe he can take 2 weeks time for learning a 1 week concept. So the personalized learning is very much required. So the student can learn at their own level. So he can learn in a slow paced manner, or a student can manner. So that kind of provision has to be provided for the students if we are going to adopt a technology. So next, best quality resources are available to all the students as well as the faculty. I think everyone knows what kind of resources available. Even I can share in the letter, in the slide, itself, I can share the information where the best quality resources are available. So we have, apart from the resources, we also have a lot of virtual labs, augmented reality videos, augmented reality facilities, and virtual reality facilities, and the gamification facilities that makes the students to learn without any boring. So that means, so whenever we are going to provide an information, so when everyone feels that, so when I was studying in my college, I went to lab, I worked for 6 hours or 3 hours. I do these things, but this nowadays the students are learning in online. What they are getting, they don't have the practical exposures like that. If you feel, the virtual labs will supplement the problem. So not exactly what we are getting in physical lab, but it will provide at least a minimum knowledge to the students on how to do experiments, and how to do the practicals, and how to connect the equipments, and how to do the experiment. Those things can be learned through the virtual lab. So for virtual labs is available for the physics, chemistry, and for microbiology, biotechnology, And even for computer science, there are several tutorials and videos, and we have platforms are available to do the virtual labs. So a faculty who is going to handling a subject, so they must be strong in handling these resources. They must know very much about the resources. They have to define a content as a personalized learning, so that the student can start at any place and they can start at any time and they can end at any time. So they can go through the content at their own will. So this kind of things we have to use. This strategy we have to follow to devise education which is going to be use the technology. Okay. So the next thing we are going to see is about how what we have to do. The same thing what we have heard is that technology is going to do with the tools. Okay, so the each learner has his or her own device. So everyone is having their mobile phones. So through the mobile phones, we will be able to make them to be personalized. They can feel the content is provided only for them. So even in this meeting, we are discussing and we are sharing some informations to you. So you can share your personal thoughts to you can chat in this particular process. After the discussion, after the session, you can interact with the teacher or the resource person so that you can get your own doubts to be clarified. So the participation and the personalization, interaction and collaboration. So whether the classroom is in the real world or in the online. So wherever you are. So either in the classroom or in the online. So if you have a classroom with all these aspects, the person and the participation should be there, and an interaction should be there, and a collaboration should be there. So if you are handling a class with all these activities, then really your class will be an effective one. So even if it is an online, so you can interact with your students and you can ask some questions. You can make the students to participate. You can interact with them personalized manner. For example, if a student who is very much interested in image processing, you can give an example for a particular student and ask them to solve the problem. Then automatically the student's involvement will increase. So it's making the problem to be solved personalized. Or you can give an example which is relevant to a student. For example, if a student who is mathematically if is strong in mathematics, you can ask the student to solve a mathematical problem. Then automatically the student's involvement in the class will be increased. So the participation and how much you are interacting and how you are making the students to interact with them. So these are the base area where you can build your classes to be more active. So a lot of tools available for handling the classes as well as the learning management systems. So we have certain tools like Zoom for lecture delivery. You can use a Zoom, or you can use a Microsoft Team. It's a collaboration tool as well as for a learning management you can use. Also, there is another tool available, the Google Classroom, Moodle. So a lot of tools available for engaging the students in an effective way. So this whenever you are going towards using these tools, so the teacher should be a master of these tools. Then only he is able to manage the students. Otherwise, it will be very trouble to the teacher. So how to foster learning and effective teaching through online resources. So here we can say engage with your learners online. So how you are going to make your teaching to be more effective? That's very important. So everyone says I'm handling online class, I'm delivering a content, I'm handling a session in online class. So whether they asked any question, how effective they are. So whether the participants are attending the class without moving their eyes or moving their ears. So whether the participant is switched on the video and they left. Okay. So whether the student has actively attending the session and interacting with the teacher. So whether you have assessed your student. Okay, what's the method you have used to assess your students? Okay, so anyone can give the answers in the chat. So what's the various ways of assessing your students? Whether you are effective, so how effective you are handling the session. So whether you assessed how effective you are handling your session. Say yes, no, and what's the method you are used to assess the students? Yes, anyone? So how fast you are giving the answer and how fast you are? Okay, quiz, seminar, assignment. Okay. So I'm not asking about the assessment of the knowledge. I'm asking about how effective you are teaching. How effective you are teaching. So one-to-one interaction, Aravind. Ask them to explain the concept, Mahesh Balakrishnan. I think only 4 members are attending the session. Others are remaining silent. Randomly asked questions. Okay, students interaction by Rajalakshmi. Intermediate question by Uma Mageshwari. Okay. Singhu interaction. Okay. So everyone understands how effective teaching. So how effectively you are teaching. So I think we can go with Mahesh Balakrishnan and Uma Mageshwari and Karthikeyan. Okay. So asking MCQs in between. It's very difficult to ask MCQs in between. So because we are in the mid of the session, we can ask one question, what you learned or what you understand about this topic. So if I am going to ask what is Gurukul, so if anyone is ready to answer, if you raise your hand, I can unmute and I can give the opportunity to you to speak. What is Gurukul? If you really understand. So no one is ready to raise your hand. Yeah, I think Kavita has raised the hand. If the moderator, okay. Yeah, Kavita, your unmute mic is unmuted. You can unmute and speak, Kavita. Dr. Kavita, you can unmute and speak.
Yes, sir. So without any syllabus, we are teaching, that is the Gurukula. Second thing is based on the experienced study, sir.
Okay, based on the experience,
We will learn new
learn.
concepts. Yeah.
Okay. So is there any duration for study?
No, sir.
No. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kavita. You have got the information. Okay. So now we can go for the rest of the session. So already few of you have given the right answer on how to interact, how to make your session effective, how you can assess your session is effective. Yes, you have to get feedback. You have to obtain feedback from the students, and you have to interact with the students. You have to make an environment that is more suitable and cohesive, so that the student as well as the teacher can interact without any issues. That's very important. So you have to engage with your online learners. So that is you have very important. You have to engage with your learners online. So you have to create a supportive learning environment. You have to create a supportive learning environment. That means, so whenever you are inside the classroom or in the college, the student has, if the student has any doubts, they can come to the department or they can meet inside the classroom and they can stand and they can raise the question. You can clarify the doubts inside the classroom. It's possible in classroom. When you are in online, so you have to clarify the doubts whenever there is a doubts. You have to give an environment. You have to give a positive environment or positive feel to the student so that they can ask any doubts. So you have to interact with the students as and when required, so that the students can talk to you in an easier way, so that you are able to create an environment that will be supportive for learning. So I have assessed it. So not to say these things in this platform. So I have assessed several classes. So where the teacher comes and shows the presentation and ends the presentation without having a word with the student. So that kind of environment is called a mono environment where one can speak. So there is a no dual. The dual is very important. Dual communication is very important. There is in communication we can say simplex, duplex. Okay, the simplex in the sense one-way communication. So that means a sender can send information and the receiver only receives the information. That is a simplex. In computer science, and generally in networking, we can say simplex, duplex, like that we can say. So don't be a simplex teacher. So if you are going to be a simplex teacher, so you won't never receive as a response from the students, and your students will always automatically what will do means they will switch off. They will be in the meeting, but that we can't what we can say physically present and mentally absent. That's the thing whenever students inside the classroom. That means they are physically inside the classroom, but their mind is always there somewhere else. So same thing will happen. The students are physically in the meeting, but logically they are outside the meeting. They are doing something else. So some of the faculties, around 56 faculties are available here. I got only feedback from only few. So others, they have not given any feedback. That's the situation we will have when we are going to have an environment that is not supporting to the learning. Also, you have to use a mix of learning tools for the better engagement. So sometimes you can use the quiz, sometimes you can use seminar. So here we have said several assessment methods our faculties have suggested. So you can use suddenly you can ask one student to interact. You can ask the student to speak something. You can ask the student to present something. You can start a group discussion in the meeting. So A group, B group, or you can give a quiz. You segregate the teams. First 10 students as a A group and second 10 students as a B group. So I will ask one question, which group is answering, that group will get marks. Like that, you can conduct some events. So you have to use a mix of learning tools for the better engagement. So tools in the sense, not only technology, it is also the way of handling the session. It is also tools. So if you are going to handle a session only by using PPT, it is a tool? No, it is not a tool. It's the way of presenting the content. But the PPT itself can speak. The PPT itself can explain. That is authoring. We call it authoring. So there are a lot of tools available for authoring a PPT and providing content in an efficient way. There are a lot of tools available. Okay, so that's the mixing of tools you have to use, mixing of techniques or mixing of teaching methodologies you can use for the better engagement. And you have to provide feedback to the students. So if any of the student who is doing good, you can appreciate them. That will make others to come forward. So don't criticize the students in the class. That's a very important thing. When we are going to provide a feedback, so at the same time, don't give a negative feedback to the students or criticize the student. So you can say, okay, good. So then later after the session, you can personally call the student and you can explain why you say like this. It's a mistake. Don't do that, like that. So whenever they commit a mistake, you have to notify them in a separate way, in a separate platform. It should not be in a public platform. Okay. So the next thing what we are going to say is that creation of the content. So whenever you are going to create a content, you have to create the content which is mobile supporting. So because we are using a laptop, so we are working with computers, we can develop the content based on the system or the desktop or the personal computer which you have with a high configuration. You can put the content. Means when the student are accessing in the mobile phone, they feel difficult to download the content and difficult to access the content. So whenever you are defining or creating a content, learning content, it should be suitable for a mobile. So this is the way you can deliver a content in an effective way. So you can assess yourself by getting the feedback. You can assess the students' knowledge by asking some questions, interactions, quiz, seminar, assignments. Those are the ways you can know how effective you are teaching. But making your session to be more effective, making your resource to be more effective, you have to follow these certain aspects. So next, at Rathinam. So what we are using at Rathinam, so everyone knows. So most of us, we are with the Ratnam family. We all know what are the tools we are using. So Microsoft Teams. So it's a digital hub, and we are saying it is a collaboration tool. So where we have introduced a lot of things. So we are conducting this meeting itself in Microsoft Teams, and we are collaborating. We are sharing circulars. We are sharing important information. So all kind of data collection is also done through Microsoft Teams. So this is a collaboration tool we are using. So the same tool is used for students communication, students session handling, and the live sessions, recorded sessions. So everything is going to be processed in the recorded, that is the Microsoft Teams. And the notes sharing. So we are using Ratnam Learning Hub and assignments with rubrics, quiz, survey poll, feedback to the learner and feedback from the learner, and the grade book. So these are the various tools which we are using for engaging the students as well as to interact and share the content to the students in the Ratnam Learning Hub. So the Ratnam Learning Hub and the Office 365 are the two tools we are using at Ratnam. Okay, so these are the known informations to you all, so that I am just skipping this information. Okay, so now we are going to the blended and flipped learning concept. So traditional learning, so we all know. So how we are handling the classes? Just we write the topic in the board and we will give lecture to the students and we will give notes to the students and we will dictate and we will write the content in the board. That's the traditional learning that is followed earlier days. But now what we are following is the flipped learning concept or blended learning concept. So here the content has been the video content or the materials or the presentations which are shared to the students in an advanced way. That is in Ratnam Learning Hub, we have shared the information and the student has to review. The student has to review the content prior to the class. So normally in flipped learning, the class has been split into three ways. One is the prior to the class, on the class, and post class. Okay, so prior to the class, the student has to prepare the content and he has to assess, he has to know what the topic the teacher is going to teach. That's why we are sharing the session plan to the student. Based on the session plan, the students will prepare. Already the content is available in the Ratnam Learning Hub. So the students will prepare well before coming to the class. Okay, on the class, what the teacher will do. So on the class, the teacher will assess the understanding level of the students. So if the students have not properly learned, or few of them has misunderstood the concept, or few of them are not understand the particular concept, then the teacher will do the content delivery based on the students' understanding. Okay. So once the content deliveries happen, then the teacher will give a small problem to the student or creating a group. Already groups have been created. What we call here in Ratnam is a battalion. So the battalion process will help the student to solve the problems and they can present the solutions to the teacher. So the teacher will correct the problem or give appreciations. And the post class will be a project or an assessment on the topic will be given. So the student has to go home or as a team, they can solve the problem and they can submit back the solution. That will be the assignment or it may be a seminar. So it will be assessed based on the assignments and seminars. So this is a process of the flipped learning and the blended learning. So in blended, generally what we call is the blended learning means we can substitute our content, our lecture delivery with additional contents or video materials. That's a blended learning. So when we are coming to a flipped learning, it's a process of segregating the sessions into three. So where the student generally in the traditional classes, the students come to the class and they will take the notes and they will learn inside the classroom. But when we are coming towards a flipped learning concept, the students are given materials, video contents, and advanced. So the student has to come to the class with the preparation. So inside the class, he will be getting additional knowledge and know how to apply the concept in practical way and how to solve the problem in a practical way. And the post session, the problem solution or advanced problems can be given, or case studies can be given. Those case studies can be solved by the student. So this is about the blended and flipped learning. Okay. So now we are going to see how to building a digital learning capacity. Okay. So here, the same thing which we already discussed. So few things which we are already following inside in our Ratnam teaching learning methodology. So we have to make active learning. So we have to concentrate more on active learning. So active learning in the sense, so the student has to take part in our learning process. They have to be come along with us. The teacher can teach with an mono, that is a simplex mode, and the students are doing some other activities without knowing to the teacher. So those can be avoided. Those could be avoided. So we have to more focused on the active learning, and we have to encourage the participatory learning process. That means, so we have to assess this level of students, and we have to know what level the students are understand and what level that reaches the students and what we have to put in more to make the students to understand in the next level. So that's a participatory learning. So in order to assess the level of students, we have to conduct intermediate quizzes and we have to appreciate as and when it's required. So you have to make the sessions groups to be very smaller so that you can be able to assess the group in an easier way. So that's why we in our process we are having a battalion which is a 10 members group. So the each group we have 10 members. Then the 10 members can be interacted and discussed, and they can provide the feedback. So that's a process we are following in that. And we have projects and assessments. We have to provide some assessment methods and projects to the students in a basically group based work you can give, or you can provide a different task to the students so that you can assess the learning level of the student. Okay. So these are the various things we have. So when we are going to do all these things, so you have to need of some contents, or you are in need of certain data for doing this digital learning experience. So in order to do that, so the government has provided a lot of content to the public, like us. So we can use these portals to access the content, like Swayam, NPTEL, where you can find a lot of courses. As a complete courses are available, so you can access those courses. You can suggest the students to go ahead and they can learn the course and they can do certification also in that. So now recently the Swayam and NPTEL has introduced the online degree program with the 32 specializations they have provided. So if you complete, for example, a student who is completing a 32 domains or 32 courses in a particular domain, then he will be getting an online degree that may be issued by an IIT. So that process is and that. So and an NDLI, the National Digital Library of India, that is also available, where you can find a lot of information, lot of ebooks, materials, learning resources are available there. And EPG Padashala is another portal where you can find a lot of learning materials. And the set of channels available, like Swayam Prabha is a DTH channels where you can able to see a lot of educational videos are available, and it has been broadcasted in so you can receive those channels, you can view those channels in YouTube also, so that you can get information and the students can get additional information. And the spoken tutorial for the technology related things, they can learn spoken tutorial. So these are the certain portals available for digital learning. So the technology is just slowly, it is going to replace the teacher. I'm not saying the replacing of teachers. So here, the teacher is a person not to teach. Here, the teacher is a person to mentor the students. So if you are not correctly mentoring the students, if you are not guiding the students, then the students will know how the teacher is, what the teacher is. For example, if you are going to handling a technology paper like Python, or if you are going to handling a PHP, or if you are going to handling R programming, so you have to teach the subject. So a lot of materials available to the students on regarding the PHP, Python, or R programming. So the students can learn those things in the materials. They are able to view the videos and they can get the knowledge. As a teacher, so you are going to give a demonstration about how the PHP is running, how the Python is running, how to run a program in Python, how to do a Python with the cloud environment, how to run a Python in Jupyter. So those kind of information we have to provide. That's the role of a mentor or role of a teacher. So the teacher here is not to show the syntax. So for example, I'm from computer science, so I'm saying this. So so a teacher cannot say the syntax and the structure of the program. So teacher is the person who is able to guide the student to do a programming, how to run a program, how to edit a program, how to bug a program. So these are the things that teacher has to do. So there's those only we have a lot of tools available, and also certain other tools like the digital tool platforms available are Coursera, Udemy, edX, academy.oracle.com, Khan Academy, Code Academy. So these are the various portals available for teacher as well as the students to enhance their digital learning capacity. So as a teacher, we have to be more strong in delivering this content so that you will be able to handle a session in an effective way. Okay. So next thing I'm going to say is the NEP. So it's a highlights. So this session is about the commemorating of 1 year of National Educational Policy. So I have taken this picture from the National Educational Policy 2020. So the policy recommends the key initiatives like online platforms, online tools, so knowledge dissemination, online assessment, digital infrastructure, content creation, virtual labs, and digital repository. So now at Rathinam, so we have attained a platform, the digital infrastructure already we have created. Already our faculty members have developed a lot of contents. We have created contents for our students, and we have a platform, the online platform, where we can deliver the content and we are able to handle sessions, and the same sessions are recorded sessions are available, and a knowledge dissemination is happening, and online assessment is also happening. So these are the various areas we have covered in the national education policy. So still we have time to complete the process. So we are in the process of enrolling ourselves in the National Academic Depository, and also we are planning to embed ourselves into addressing the digital divide. So those things we will be covering in the next coming years. So next thing, a lot of tools for teaching learning. So already we are using Microsoft Teams and Learning Hub as a tools. In addition to that, there are a lot of tools available in online. So they are iSpring Free is a e-learning authoring tool that allows you to make a PowerPoint presentation to be created. So PowerPoint presentation can be created into a mobile platform, online resources, online courses with quizzes. And Kahoot is another tool. It is a game-based learning platform that create fun learning games you can create. And Edpuzzle is another tool where you can interactive video sessions can be created, and you can embed audio notes, assessments, and quizzes into the puzzle and the video. And the Spell Quiz is it's a tool, it's an online service that mainly focuses on helping kids and adults to learn phonetics. Fine. Okay. The quiz is a web-based assessment tool that allows you to present quizzes on science, social sciences, computer science, technical education, art to students as timed test or homework with a specified deadline. So these are the various tools available. So a lot of tools are available. 50 more teaching tools are available. So I'm not going to teach all the things, or I'm not going to introduce all those tools. So these are the various tools available for the teaching and learning. So now it's time for the question answer. So I hope I have covered around 35 minutes. So if any questions, so please rise. So I'm ready to answer your questions. So if you have any doubts or questions, you can raise your hand. So you will be given the opportunity. Your mic will be unmuted and you can raise the questions. So if you don't have any questions, I will ask questions to the participants. So there is a two option. One, you can question, or otherwise I will question. Okay. So the time there is no one is answering. So I will go to pick certain persons. Yeah, Amuda Devi has raised the hand. Okay, ma'am. Amuda Devi, madam, your mic is unmute. You can unmute and speak. Your mic is available. You can unmute and speak. Amuda Devi, madam. Okay, madam, Varavari, you can ask. Arulmari Arasu, so your mic is unmute. Could you please give a summary on what is the takeaway of this session? So what you learned from this session? Yeah, Arulmari, you can unmute and speak.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, actually, I joined the session at 3:20. Once I class completed, then only I come back.
Yeah,
come
whatever you learned, yes, you can say.
Yeah, sure, sir. Actually, the overall concept I understood in this session. First of all, how to take improve the technology using teaching, and then second thing, how the teacher will teach the students before come to the session. So before go to the start the session, the staff member must learn few things about what do you call about the particular content, and then video, flipped class, and then render class also. And then fourth point, as a computer science faculty member, they must teach about not only a syntax or like a programming language, like not only syntax, it also they give a example of how to put the coding in especially in programming language. So they are more concentrated about the programming.
Yeah. So the practical way of teaching is very important. That's a very important thing. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Arulmozhi Arasu. Now I enable Anusha A from Commerce. So she can say what she has gathered or what she gained in this session. Anusha A.
Sir, is my voice audible? Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, audible. Good afternoon. It's audible.
Yes, sir. So today for the students, everything is available for them from this Google, etc. So this session mainly, what I understood, give them practical knowledge about that, not just taking the class by that theoretical part. They have everything practical.
Anusha ma'am, your voice is breaking. So what you are saying is the students are getting information in online. So we have to provide more information in the practical way. That's the way you are saying, yes?
Yeah, that's it, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I think we can give the Palnichami has raised the hand. Palnichami, your mic is enabled. You can unmute and speak.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, audible.
Sir, Tamil Amudha ma'am has to speak, sir. She want to speak, sir.
Yeah,
please.
Please.
சாரி சார், சிஸ்டம்ல அதை அன்மியூட் பண்ண முடியல, அதனாலதான் இதுல இருந்து கால்.
ஓகே மேம், சொல்லுங்க
சார். நம்ம இந்த தொடர்ந்து ஒரு வாரமா பேசிட்டு வர எல்லா விஷயங்களுமே தேசிய அளவிலான இந்த கல்விக் கொள்கையை பத்தி பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஆனா இன்னுமே அடிப்படையில இந்த ஆன்லைன் வசதிகள் கிடைக்க பெறாத கிராமப்புற மாணவர்கள் நிறைய பேர் இருக்காங்க. அவர்களுக்கான தீர்வா நம்ம என்னங்க சார் சொல்ல இருக்கிறோம்?
மேடம், அது நம்ம இன்னும் இந்த விஷயம், இந்த செஷன்லயே நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நம்ம சொல்ல வேண்டியிருக்கு. அகாடமிக் பேங்க் கிரெடிட்ஸ்னு ஒரு ப்ராசஸ் இருக்குங்க மேம். அதை நான் இன்னும் டச் பண்ணல இன்னைக்கு ஆக்சுவலா. ஸோ என்ன அப்படின்னா, நம்ம வந்து மாணவர்கள் வந்து இன்னைக்கு ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் கிராமத்துல இருக்கிறாங்க, அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு மாசம் வந்து வெளியில வந்து தங்கக்கூடிய ஒரு வாய்ப்பு கிடைக்குது, இல்ல 2 மாசம் வந்து வெளியூர்ல வந்து தங்கக்கூடிய வாய்ப்பு கிடைக்குது அப்படின்னா, அங்க தங்கி அவங்க ஒரு கோர்ஸ் கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணி அல்லது 2 கோர்ஸை கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணி ஒரு 4 கிரெடிட் 6 கிரெடிட் ஏர்ன் பண்ணி அந்த கிரெடிட் பேங்க்ல சேவ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். திரும்ப அவங்க வந்து ஊருக்கு போயிட்டு இல்ல வெளியூர் போயிட்டு அவங்களால படிக்க முடியாத சூழ்நிலை ஏற்படுதுன்னா, அவங்க அந்த காலத்தை வீணடிக்க வேண்டியதுல அவங்க வேலையை செஞ்சுட்டு திரும்ப அவங்க எப்ப வாய்ப்பு கிடைக்குதோ அப்ப அந்த கிரெடிட்ஸை ஏர்ன் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே வரலாம். அதாவது எப்ப எப்படி நம்ம வந்து சம்பாதிக்கும் போது பேங்க்ல டெபாசிட் பண்ணுவோமோ அந்த மாதிரி படிக்கக்கூடிய சூழ்நிலை வரும் பொழுது அந்த மாணவர்கள் படித்து அந்த கிரெடிட்ஸை வந்து கிரெடிட் பேங்க்ல, அகாடமிக் கிரெடிட் பேங்க்ல சேவ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே வந்துக்கலாம். அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு குறிப்பிட்ட ஸ்டேஜ் ஒரு 120 கிரெடிட் அவங்க ஏர்ன் பண்ணிட்டாங்க அப்படின்னும் போது அவங்களுக்கு வந்து யூஜி டிகிரி அப்படின்றத கொடுக்கறதுக்காக நம்ம கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து திட்டங்கள் வகுத்திருக்காங்க. அது நேஷனல் எஜுகேஷனல் பாலிசியில ஒரு அங்கமா இருக்குங்க மேம்.
கல்வி இடைநிற்றலுடைய மாணவர்களுடைய சதவீதம் இதனால அதிகரிக்கிறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இருக்காங்க சார்?
அதிகரிக்க வாய்ப்பு நம்ம அதாவது 2 விதமா எடுத்துக்கலாம். நீங்க வந்து நெகட்டிவ் சைடு ஒரு காயினை டாஸ் பண்றீங்க, ஹெட் வருமா டெயில் வருமான்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னாக்கா நான் ஹெட் வரும்னு சொல்லுவேன், நீங்க டெயில் வரும்னு சொல்லுவீங்க. அந்த மாதிரி தான் நான் வந்து ஒரு மாணவன் வந்து படிக்கிறான், அவனுடைய குடும்ப சூழ்நிலை காரணமா படிக்க முடியாது, அவன் வேலைக்கு போக வேண்டிய சூழ்நிலை ஏற்படுது அப்படின்னா அவன் வேலைக்கு போய்க்கலாம். போயிட்டு ஒரு 6 மாசமோ 1 வருஷமோ கழிச்சு திரும்ப வந்து ஒரு 6 மாசம் படிக்கணும்னு வரானா படிக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு ஒரு சூழ்நிலை உருவாகுதுன்னு சொல்றேன். ஆனா நீங்க இதை இடைநிற்றல் சொன்னீங்கன்னா இடைநிற்றல் தான் எடுத்துக்கணுங்க. அதுக்கு வந்து மாற்று கருத்து இல்லை.
இன்னும் ஒரே ஒரு கேள்விங்க சார்.
கேளுங்க.
இந்த தேசிய கல்விக் கொள்கையினால பெண்களுக்குன்னு ஏதாவது சிறப்பான ஒதுக்கீடுகள் ஏதாவது கொடுத்திருக்காங்களாங்க சார் இந்த கல்விக் கொள்கையில?
பெண்களுக்கு இருக்குங்க மேம். அவங்க முதல் செஷன் நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணதே வந்து பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா ஈக்விட்டி அண்ட் ஜெனரலிட்டி இன் எஜுகேஷன், ஈக்விட்டி அண்ட் இன்க்ளூஷன் இன் எஜுகேஷன் அப்படின்றத நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணோம். ஸோ பெண்களுக்கான ஒரு முக்கியத்துவம் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. அதுல வந்து நம்ம இதை எப்படி இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்றோம், அதை வந்து நம்ம அவங்க கொள்கையா வகுத்திருக்காங்க. அந்த கொள்கையை வந்து அதை எப்படி இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணி எப்படி அதை கவர்மெண்ட்ல வந்து கொண்டு வர்றது அல்லது கல்வி நிறுவனங்கள் அதை எப்படி கொண்டு வர்றது, மாணவர்கள் மத்தியில் அதை எப்படி கொண்டு போறதுன்றதுலதான் நமக்கு வந்து அதனுடைய பாதிப்புகளோ அல்லது நிறைகளோ குறைகளோ நமக்கு தெரிய வருங்க. முக்கியத்துவம்
சார்,
இருக்கு.
ஆனா
பெண்களுக்கான
ஒரு
முக்கியத்துவம்
சர்வே
இருக்கு.
நமக்கு என்ன சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னா, உயர்கல்வியில பெண்களுக்கு ஒதுக்கப்படுகின்ற தொகைகள்ல பெரும்பான்மையான தொகை வந்து அந்த பெண்கள் உயர்கல்விக்கு பயன்படுத்திக்கிறதே இல்ல அப்படின்னு ஒரு முடிவு கொடுக்குறாங்க.
ஆமாங்க மேடம்.
அப்ப இதுக்கு இந்த முடிவை மாத்தணும் அப்படின்னா நம்ம போன்ற கல்வி நிறுவனங்கள் என்ன மாதிரியான முயற்சிகளை எடுத்தா பெண்களுக்கான கல்வி உதவித்தொகையை முறையா வாங்கி கொடுத்து அவர்களுக்கான கல்வி பெறுவதற்கு நம்ம உதவி செய்ய முடியும் சார்?
ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னாக்கா, நம்ம வந்து பிஜி ஸ்காலர்ஷிப், இந்திரா காந்தி பிஜி ஸ்காலர்ஷிப்னு ஒரு ஸ்கீம் இருக்குங்க மேம். அந்த ஸ்கீம் வந்து எவ்ரி இயர் பாத்தீங்கன்னாக்கா உங்களுக்கு ஜூன் ஜூலைல ஓபன் பண்ணி செப்டம்பர் அக்டோபர்ல க்ளோஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஸோ இந்த திட்டத்தை வந்து நம்ம சர்க்குலர் மூலியமா தெரிவிக்கிறோம். இது வந்து பிஜி ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் மட்டும் தான் அப்ளை பண்ண முடியும், யூஜி ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. அதாவது சிங்கிள் சைல்டா இருக்கக்கூடிய யூஜி ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து முடிச்சுட்டு வந்து பிஜி ஜாயின் பண்ணும்போது அவங்க அப்ளை பண்ணால் அவங்களுக்கு அந்த 2 வருஷ கோர்ஸோ இல்ல 3 வருஷ கோர்ஸ்லயோ அவங்களுக்கு ஸ்காலர்ஷிப் கொடுக்குறாங்க. ஸோ இந்த விஷயத்த நம்ம ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கு வந்து கொண்டு போய் சேர்த்தால் அப்படின்னாலே போதும். நம்ம சர்க்குலர் போடுறோம், மெயில் போடுறோம், பட் அதோட நிறுத்திடுறோம். ஆஸ் அ இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் ஹெட்ல இருந்து ஒரு சர்க்குலர் வரும், ஆஸ் அ இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் ஹெட்ல இருந்து ஒரு மெயில் ஃபார்வர்ட் ஆகும். அது அந்தந்த துறையில இருக்கக்கூடிய கல்லூரி ஆசிரியர்கள், நிர்வாக ஆசிரியர்கள் இருக்கக்கூடிய டியூட்டர்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணலாம், அதை அந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கு ரீச் பண்ணி அதுக்கு யார் எலிஜிபிளான ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணி அந்த டியூட்டர்ஸ் வந்து அதை கொண்டு வந்தாங்க அப்படின்னா கண்டிப்பா அந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து அது ரீச் ஆகும்.
நன்றி சார்.
நன்றி.
Thank you, sir.
தேங்க்யூ சார், தேங்க்யூ. ஸோ வேற யாருக்கான ஏதேனும் டவுட் இருந்தால் கேட்டுக்கலாம். ஐ எம் ரெடி டு கிளாரிஃபை த டவுட்ஸ். So there is no doubts. So I think we can hand over the session to the coordinator, Dr. P. Srinivasan, Faculty Development Cell Coordinator. Please take over the session.
Thank you, sir. That was a thought-provoking session, and I hope all our faculties would utilize it for their future prospects. Once again, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks for the 6 days FTP commemorating the reforms, 1-year reforms in national education policy. I first of all wholeheartedly thank our beloved CEO, Dr. Manikam sir, for supporting us in organizing this FTC, and also extend the thanks to our principal sir for supporting us in organizing the FTC, and extend my sincere thanks to the deans of our institution, Dr. Suresh sir, Sabri sir, and Hemlata ma'am, for giving support and guidance in organizing FTC, and also providing the members, resource persons for today's event, two day of this DP. I also thank all the head of the departments for deputing their faculty during their busy schedules and among the online class sessions for attending the FTP. And above all, I thank the faculty members for their continuous support in attending the sessions every day until today for all the 6 days. So thank you all once again for joining here with us in this session. Thank you all. And for your information, I will be posting the feedback link on the chat box. Kindly post your feedback so that we'll be able to send you the certificate to your registered email ID. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.